A very good evening to you. Welcome to another Hot Button Issue broadcast right here on Choice Television with me, Timothy Polio. We conclude at about 10 minutes after 10 o'clock with the clip that peaked. Later, I'll be taking your calls, so please stand by. I will be giving the instruction to do so when the time is opportune. My guests this evening, they're hoping to become government MPs or parliamentarians, elected parliamentarians, come the island's next general election. And we'll be having a lot of those individuals on our broadcast between now and when the next general election is called. It is constitutionally due in February of 2017, but many people are already predicting it could take place during the course of this year or even next year, because come November of 2016, the St. Lucia Labour Party would have served its full 5-year tenure in office. My guests this evening, no stranger to Choice Television, the host of the Pulse program, a health program aired on Tuesdays, Dr. Andre Matthew. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you, Tim.
And also Jeana Corneille. She has worked on television before, working with HTS as a weather lady and also working somewhere else in the public service. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us, Tim.
Shocking news, Doc. The fact that I'm hearing that you want to enter the political arena.
Yes.
I always got the impression that you had something to offer. Never expected that you would have been taking the plunge so soon.
Yes.
What is your motive, sir?
Tim, I must say, my motive is because of the current situation. I look back, 20 years ago, when I was a teenager, and every now and then, I have people come to me, patients, especially the teens, the current teens, and I tell them, man, St. Lucia was so different when I was young. And then, I stopped to realize that, wait, I'm not so old to be talking about me being young and how St. Lucia was so different. But it was really so different. And I can definitely say that the changes that we've seen over the years have been in almost every aspect of livelihood in St. Lucia. I believe that these changes are mainly because of the failure of our political system. I think our leadership over the last 20 years has not been what St. Lucia was familiar with before those 20 years. I mean, Tim, if you think about it, we came from a period where we had Sir John Compton, Romanus Lancico, gentlemen like Peter Josie, Louis George, gentlemen who you could refer to without any hesitation as honorable, despite all what people said they had in their closet. And gentlemen who, without a doubt, you knew that they had the country as the most important thing to them. They were statesmen.
Is that a nostalgic feeling that you have? You're yearning for the days of yore, basically? Is that what you're craving for right now?
I'm craving to see good leadership once more. And I mean, it is also because of the current situation in St. Lucia. Tim, let's face it again. The situation is bad. As people say, the struggle is real. We think about the difficulties people are having in terms of affording simple things. People cannot afford their food in certain cases. People cannot afford to pay their bills. People cannot afford to pay their loans for their vehicle or for their homes. And most importantly for me, Tim, people are struggling to keep up with medical expenses.
Isn't a situation where people are going through that same thing during the Depression of the 1930s and other periods,
Definitely,
1970s and
definitely. But I think we can safely say, at least from this side, that the policies of this current administration seem to be culpable for the place that we are right now.
Welcome to the program, ma'am. What is your motive?
Well, Tim, I share some of the same sentiments as Dr. Matthew here. However, my motive is, likewise, I do want to see a St. Lucia that slightly resembles what we are used to. But more specifically, I want to give hope to young individuals like myself. As he says, the struggle is real, the challenges are real. And To become active in politics for me is because I strongly believe that we are at a point in our nation's history where our young people need to step up. Our young people need to be heard, and our young people need proper representation. Our young people are combating many challenges, and for me as a young woman and as a young mother, I can say that these challenges are real. I understand these challenges. Not only can I sympathize with, young mothers, young women, the youth, I can empathize with them because I know what their struggles are.
Now you want to inspire the young people and to give them hope.
Yes.
Obama wanted to do the same thing as well. But in the end, I'm sure that a larger section of the American population will tell you that they're very disappointed. It's one thing to want to inspire people, give them hope and so on, but it's one thing to deliver.
Tim, this is the point at which we're at right now. Many of our young people have lost hope. It takes so much energy to encourage and to revive, hope in our young people right now. They're all saying that they cannot make a change. They're all saying, well, what to do? It's almost like they're throwing their hands up in the air. You will never get every individual rallying behind you. You will never get every individual just pouncing on the idea for change. But I believe that if each and every one of us make the contribution that we can make, however small, however insignificant it may seem, collectively, we can make a change. Collectively, we can make a difference.
But very often, people are looking forward to you as an individual to make that kind of change that certainly would serve as a betterment for them, that will improve their lives.
I believe that, as they say, no man is an island, and no one individual can do it all on their own. We have to collaborate, we have to come together, we have to work together for the benefit of our country.
That's when we take leadership, and that's what Dr. Matthew is making reference to. How will you be able to provide that kind of leadership to really inspire people so that in the end they can work towards improving their own lives? Because you on your own will not be able to undertake such a Herculean task.
That is true. No one individual can. But I believe that that's what teams are there for. And I believe in whatever capacity that you are placed, if the burning desire upon your heart is to serve and is to make the difference that you're coming to make, I believe that you can collaborate with those around you and you could work as a team, everybody making their contribution and being open to the ideas that others are coming with and to work with that.
That's right. Tim?
Doc, it's never that easy to work
easy.
in a team to execute whatever goals that you intend to. For example, whether it's a team sport, football, etc.
Right. Tim, I wanted to mention along the lines that Jeana has been speaking, that politics actually provides every one of us with a platform for meaningful change, right? Politics is a means by which we can influence what is happening in our daily lives. And that is where I believe all these solutions who have been saying for all these years, stay away from politics. Politics is dirty. Stay away from politics. Politics is nasty. I believe we are really doing ourselves a disservice. We need to get involved so that each and every one of us is making sure that the political process is working to our favor, to the favor of each and every individual and to the favor of the country in its entirety. If we stand aside, for example, Tim, young people have basically taken an attitude towards politics whereby they're not getting involved to the extent that they're not even going to vote.
Because they do not trust politicians. Why
That's
enter
right.
such a profession where the people in the main do not trust the politicians?
Yes, Tim, and that's why I believe if there is a culture of politics which is creating distrust in our leaders, then it is for us to come in and change that, for us to provide an alternative to the existing crop of politicians that we have. I don't think, and I would stress to every St. Lucian, especially every young St. Lucian, I don't think staying away from the vote, is going to help the situation at all. We need young people right now to come in. Now, Tim, I should right away mention, as you could see, we have our yellow representative.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Yes, but I should right away just mention that I think it's important that we see politics and the individuals involved in politics as we see a relay race. You know, I start off running, right? And I move, after I've done my part, I move and I pass on the baton to the next person. And he passes on the baton. Tim, I think it's crucial that in politics, there is a culture that we should now start pushing, right? That there is a passing on of the baton. Each individual, come play your part, and let's pass it on to the younger people, the fresh legs, as I would call them. Fresh legs, fresh hearts, right? And maybe fresh, and not maybe, definitely fresh minds. We can pass on the baton, which is something we haven't been seeing happen before, but something which I can say I'm proud of because it is what is happening right now within the party that we
people have been
represent.
disappointed time after time after time.
Right.
Do you think it would be a tough effort to sell yourself to the people to say, I am a different politician? What makes you a different politician? What separates you from the other politicians who have disappointed the electorate time after time?
I think it's never easy to revive hope and revive faith when it is lost, or trust, I should say. But I most certainly believe that we have had a system over the years where too many of our politicians are, as I would refer to them, career politicians who need to be in politics almost to survive. And I believe that among the youth, and I can say for myself, we need individuals who are not in it for themselves, but who are in it because the challenges that are being faced by their fellow men, the challenges that are being faced by their country is burning upon their heart, and with all sincerity, they are determined to do everything in their power to make the difference. I believe that I come not just with euphoria, not just with a whole bunch of enthusiasm, but there is a deep burning passion in me to see our country reach the next level, to see our young people live to their full potential.
And again, somebody will say, moi j'attends tout ça.
Yes,
I've heard this
definitely.
before.
Definitely. But this is where you have to be given the opportunity to prove that. You have to be given the opportunity to prove it.
Dr. Matthew, what sets you apart from other politicians?
Tim, I think most importantly, it's my youth. I think it's the fact that, you know, we're not coming in, as Jeana said, as career politicians. This is not what I do for a living. I can say without any doubt that if St. Lucia was in a good place, I would continue practicing medicine, I would continue doing my show, and I'll be very happy just doing that. But it is very difficult for me to, you know, go about my merry way, stay in my comfort zone, and every single day encounter somebody who is complaining because they're going through such a rough time. You know, in my office, in my practice, I almost feel like a counselor more than a doctor sometimes, because it's a lot of trying to get people who feel hopeless, who feel helpless, you know, who are starting to withdraw from others because they feel so depressed, trying to get them some reassurance that things will get better. And I say that to them, and then I say to myself, but how do you reassure them that things are going to get better if you're not going to do anything for it to get better? So, I mean, I think it's a moment which reminds me of what 1979 might have been like, when we had all those young, you know, politicians. They were in their 30s, Sir John, Peter Josie, you know, all these young politicians who felt, listen, they want St. Lucia to reach a new height, and they're ready to work hard for that. I feel that, you know, we're bringing the same thing to the plate at this moment, you know. And what we want to do really is to encourage other young people to come in, be a part of it. Come in, you know, make your voice heard, and definitely make your opinion known at the ballot box.
The yellow has given it away. Basically, people will see the yellow, they say that you were hoping to contest
Right.
the next general election on a United Workers' Party ticket. Why not be more innovative? Engage in some risk-taking from your own political party?
I'm happy you asked that question, Tim, because I can tell you up to a few weeks ago, I was actually considering doing just that. I started off this interest in politics not thinking about joining a political party. My initial interest was becoming an independent candidate, just so that I could have been a voice out there, you know, trying to push politics to another level. I then thought, why not push for a political party, a new political party, you know? But I tried to get other individuals. I tried to get people who I thought were quality people and could do this. And all of them would just say, well, you know, third parties don't win. Well, you sure? Tim, I don't think we have time for that. I don't think we have time for that. So I decided, you know what? I really want that this election not be an election that passes by without us going out there and making sure that there will be change after this election. So I decided I have to choose between one of the two parties that exist, you know, to be a member.
Is it a case where the United Workers' Party is the obvious party for St. Lucia, or is the lesser of two evils?
Tim, if we were to consider the two parties right now, I think we'd have to just simply say right away that the SLP has failed. Its administration has failed. Tim, we have 3 successive years of recession, and we have 50% youth unemployment. As an administration, they have nothing to say for themselves. And if I was to choose between two parties, that would be one reason why I definitely would not go that way, because I think we need to have a change of administration. Now,
on this issue, we'll hear from you in just a moment. Let's take a commercial break. The discussion will continue in just a moment. You're watching Hot Button Issue right here on Choice Television. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Hot Button Issue on Choice Television. With me, Timothy Polio, and my guests, Dr. Andre Matthew and Jeana Corneille. Doc, I think you were making a point before we took the commercial break.
Yes.
During the first segment of the broadcast.
Yes. So I just wanted to complete what I was saying by saying that in looking at joining a party, I was very much attracted to the process that I was seeing happening within the United Workers' Party. There's a lot of renewal and restructuring within the party, which is allowing for persons like myself to come in. So what I've seen is that at the very constituency level, with the constituency branch members, that's where the party has had most of its restructuring in a way that
Central.
Well, throughout the island, in a way that it is allowing the branch, the constituency branch, to be the one, or the branch members to be the ones to determine who will end up being the constituency rep or candidate. So I'm very impressed with that, because I think that's democracy at its best. It should really be an empowerment of the people from below, you know, an empowerment which goes from bottom up, and not power which is forced down on people from
My
top
information
down.
is that Mr. Peterson Francis has been basically working the seat probably over a year now.
Right.
We don't know what could happen with Mr. Richard Frederick.
Right.
I mean, it's far-fetched, but there could be some kind of rapprochement
Right.
between Mr. Richard Frederick and the key elements in the United Workers' Party.
Right.
Where would that leave you?
Tim, I'm going through the process. The process requires me to have an interview, requires me to do a runoff if there are other candidates who are suitable candidates. I will go through the process. I'm really not focusing too much on who the other persons may be. I think I just have to leave it to the party process for the best man to become the candidate to represent the United Workers' Party.
What about you, ma'am? In Grosile, the incumbent in terms of the caretaker candidate is Mr. Leonard Spider-Montut. He's the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party. And we're certain that the stage there for there to be some kind of upheaval in that seat as far as a runoff is concerned?
Not at all. I don't think so. I think just as Andre said earlier, the constitution of the party has made it possible for anyone who is interested to exercise their democratic right and to become a member of the party and to apply for candidacy. I do not believe that there should be tension between Mr. Montoute and myself. I hold him in high regard. I value the contributions that he has made over the years. And as such, I look forward to working along with Mr. Montoute.
But with you as the candidate?
Yes, even if I should become the candidate to represent Grosley, I look forward to working together with him. I see the party as a family. I see it as a team. And even if one particular individual is not at the top, it doesn't say that everybody cannot work together. Andre mentioned earlier, you know, the relay race and the passing on of the baton. The passing on of the baton is also for those whom we are coming to, I don't want to say replace, but those who we are taking the baton from, for them to pass on the knowledge, pass on the experience, pass on the wisdom to us. It's not a fight, you know, between ages. It's not a fight between the youth and those who are older. It is for us, as Andre said earlier as well, for fresh legs, fresh ideas, and for us to be guided along. So I see no reason why within the party there should be fraction within the party. Why?
But Mr. Montoute must have displayed some kind of weakness for you to want to capitalize on that.
Not.
Where do you take your bravery from in terms of wanting to tackle Mr. Montoute for the seat, the candidacy?
It doesn't necessarily have to be that by me expressing my interest that I'm saying that Mr. Montoute is weak. I'm saying that I'm coming to the table with something different.
You must have seen some kind of vulnerability.
I am saying that I am coming to the table with something different.
What is that difference?
I am a young woman. I'm a young mother.
And he's not.
He's not.
And he's not, definitely. I'm a young woman. I'm a young mother. I feel in this era, I understand the challenges. I understand the plights of young people. I believe that that in itself is an asset to be able to reach out to that set of individuals within that constituency and throughout St. Lucia on a whole.
But he brings experience to the fold,
yes,
which you don't have.
Yes, he brings experience to the fore. I will not say no. But I'm saying that I can reach out to a different set of individuals that I do not believe he can do at this time.
But don't you think that sets the stage for there to be rupture, some kind of rupture?
Not if we work together as a team.
Is there any guarantee that he will work with you if you emerge as a candidate?
There is no guarantee. I mean, individuals are free to exercise their democratic right and to make their choices, but I am saying that if I were to be the preferred candidate to represent the United Workers' Party at the upcoming general elections, I am ready and willing to work with Mr. Montoute.
Yeah,
I'm asking that dog against the background of what is happening within the United Workers' Party right now. It's very unsettled.
Yeah, Tim, I can tell you that in certain aspects, it feels more of a problem of lack of communication or poor communication or misunderstandings, you know, fueling certain things. Because I can let you know that I initially expressed interest in Grosley, but not in the Grosley constituency as it is right now. I expressed interest in the Grosley South constituency if, you know, the constituency is divided as has been tabled in Parliament, you know. So my expressing my interest in Grosley South ended up making it seem to some that I immediately was challenging Leonard Spider Montoute, and the confusion started right there. I mean, I came into the party, I could say just as Jeana has, thinking that we need to offer ourselves to the party so that we can make a contribution and make whatever level of contribution that the party needs. You know, so we're offering ourselves as candidates for these constituencies, but it doesn't mean that we'll end up being the candidates. It doesn't mean that we would drop out of the process if we were not candidates. You know, it would simply mean that we would continue to assist the party, you know, in reforming, in renewing, in re-energizing, so that the party becomes a a party which is of preference in the next general election. I don't think at all that anybody who wants to become a candidate should take it that personally, that they should feel threatened, because it's not about any one individual becoming the candidate. It's about choosing the best representative. So everybody should present themselves and let the party structure, let the members of the constituency branch be the ones to decide, hey, from what we're getting on the ground or from what we're seeing, we think you would be more likely to win the constituency for UWP. And if they tell me that I'm the person, then great, I'm ready to go. But if they tell me that there's somebody else who's more likely to win and is more likely even so much more to be a member of government, then I would definitely step back and say, I listen to what you guys have to say, and I follow your instructions going forward, you know.
Yes, I would like to say it is not a power struggle. It is not just coming in to be a candidate, and if you're not a candidate, then that's it. It is, as we said before, it is in the interest of country, it is in the interest of the youth, it is in the interest of the issues that we are facing collectively. And we see ourselves as being able to make a contribution. Not only make a contribution, we realize that we cannot do it on our own. And therefore, we are willing and ready to work with those who are older than us, who are more experienced than we are, to guide us, to tell us what they feel their mistakes were and how we can capitalize on it and how we can advance. We also believe that we are in a point in our history, and we at our age group, we are fitting to reach out to other individuals and tell them that you should be a part of politics within your country. It is not just your right, but you are to play an integral part in determining the fate of your future, the fate of your country, the fate of your children.
That's right.
And it is for all of us to come together and do whatever it is that we can.
That's right.
Full disclosure, you guys are romantically involved.
Okay, I would put it simply this way, Tim. We started off as being best friends, as encouragement for each other, as support for each other, because both of us were going through a very tough time at the moment. So we started off as being best friends, and we've progressed to a point which is now where we are committed to a lifetime together. We're working towards that.
And now political bedfellows.
Now political bedfellows, yes.
This is unprecedented because we have never heard of people who are romantically involved, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc., wanting to contest general elections on the same ticket. How will this work in the event that you win your respective seats and in the event that you are in cabinet? There will not be any disagreement in terms of policies, in terms of laws, because you become one.
Right, right. Tim, I think, I think the most important thing, as you would observe, is that we're not here trying to dominate any political party or any institution. We're here to contribute, and I think we have similar passions. We're passionate about country. We're passionate about the youth. I'm passionate about health. She's passionate about education. We're very passionate about our country, and we want to do what we can. I don't think us...
But if you're passionate about each other also,
that's right.
Don't you think that St. Lucia can come second?
Oh, no.
Oh, not
in
at
terms
all.
of your priorities?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. In fact, I see it, and we felt it more of an experience where the passion for country from her and the passion from country from me has united, you know, and there is even more passion for country going forward. You know, I see it as a further commitment, a deepening of the commitment to do all that we can for country. And I think because of the fact that we're both doing it together, it will be more difficult for anybody to try to sway us, you know, in what we're doing, you know.
Corneille, don't you think that some people will be scratching their heads right now, saying husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, in politics, same political party, same cabinet, kind of spells trouble?
It's something new that's being brought to the table. This is a new day in political history in St. Lucia, but as I I would have to say, no, I don't see it as something that would spur up trouble. I think collectively we are stronger than individually, and I believe that we have a lot more to offer. We have a lot more to bring to the table, where we're both, as Andre said before, we're both passionate about our country, passionate about individual issues and collective issues. And I believe that so far, as we have expressed our interest up until now, I think not one day goes by and we're not speaking about, the issues, and we're not speaking about, how we think it could be better. So I think there's an ongoing, continuous discussion that comes out of our union, comes out of our relationship. We're always planning and always thinking of St. Lucia. And what better way to do this, to think about it, than if we're planning a life together, then we're setting the pace for that. Setting the pace for that in the life you want to live it in a St. Lucia that is secure. You want to live it in a St. Lucia that is economically stable. You want to live it in a St. Lucia where what you hand down to your children and to your grandchildren and your generations to come is something that they can be proud to say that they are St. Lucians.
Can it not serve as a distraction, Doc?
Definitely not.
We work better together.
And again, I would have to say, we've been spending so much time discussing the issues and, being critical of each other's opinion as well, that it has actually allowed us to gain more clarity about certain issues than if I think we are doing it alone. I think the very fact that there are two heads, meeting and discussing the different issues. So she puts an issue forward on education and she shares it with me, and I review it and I give my opinion on what I think would work and what wouldn't work. I do the same for health, and she goes back and forth with it as well. I think that sharing of ideas, and that happening at home, that happening in a setting where it's not two individuals who are at war, has only allowed us to discuss the issues deeper and to generate new ideas. For me, it's been a wonderful experience, I must say, because sometimes she comes up with ideas that I say to myself, my God, it's good to have somebody else who's thinking.
And Andre said that we're best friends, and if there's anything that best friends do is they're always honest with each other. So it's not a situation where if I say something, he'll just agree with it. He will critique it, he will, give his views on it. And I believe that you made mention of if we were both in Parliament, if, it would, alter or do harm to the cause. I don't think so, because I believe that if there was something I disagreed on, I would let him know that I disagreed on it. And if he disagreed with something, because at the end of the day, it is not about us. It is about the country. It is about the youth. It is about St. Lucia. And because it is about St. Lucia, if he sees a decision being made that he knows will not be in St. Lucia's best interest, not be in the best interest of the youth we have chosen to represent, it will not go through.
You're watching Hot Button Issue right here on Choice Television with me, Timothy Polio, and you're seeing a couple there. They're presenting themselves to you, and they're hoping to be contesting the next general election on a United Workers' Party ticket. Dr. Andre Matthew in his capacity as a candidate for Castro Central, hopefully, and Jeana Corneille in the case of a candidate for Grosley. We'll have to wait and see what happens come the next general election, and even before that, whether there will be a runoff in the first place. So stand by to call us so that you can have your take on our discussion this evening right here on Choice Television. And we'll be having a lot of those discussions in the weeks and months ahead. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with the broadcast. Welcome back. You're watching Hot Button Issue right here on Choice Television with me, Timothy Polio. Once again, my guests this evening, Dr. Andre Matthew and Jeana Corneille. We put the telephone number on screen so that you can call right now with your questions and comments for my two guests during this segment. But plans for the respective seats. Let's start with you. Okay, we have a call. Let's go to the call. Good evening, Hot Button Issue. You on the air?
This is the Golden Dragon.
Yeah, quickly, go ahead with your contribution, caller.
Yeah, Brother Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
First of all, let me just offer my humble advice to these young people. It's really, really nice to see young persons getting involved in this thing which is considered to be kind of dirty. And I would advise my very good friend, Dr. Andrew Matthew, to be rather in the background than in the front line. Be more of a strategist, tactical guy than actually facing the full armor. First of all, I want to ask Dr. Matthew, doesn't he think that the nobility of being a doctor, from and foremost, and to put yourself as a politician is rather a retrograde step? You know, it's a noble position, noble profession to be a doctor. Whereas when you go into politics, you're actually taking a backward step.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Thank you very much for that, caller. Really, Tim, it's unfortunate that politics has descended to such a low that if you in St. Lucia consider entering politics, it seems like you're taking a backward step. I think politics is a way or a means which allows you to serve your country at the highest level. And I think, therefore, it should be considered one of the most prestigious jobs that anyone can have, you know. But Tim, what we have experienced over the last 20 years has really put a bad name on what politics and politicians are. Again, Tim, I can say I was only in my teens, and I saw people like Sir John Compton, you know, Romanus Lancico, Louis George, Peter Josie, and I admired these men. I was in my teens, and I was bright at the time. I remember, for example, and I just want to make a quick reference to this, I remember seeing Sir John Compton in his old van passing by my home in Marisol and saying to myself, goodness, man, what a great man. You know, Tim, we've only gotten to this point where politics and politicians seem dishonorable over the last 20 years because we haven't had good ones.
Let's take a call. Good evening, Hot Button Issue, you on the air?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening to you, caller. Quick contribution.
I really, you have been listening with interest, and Tim, one of the things I would like, not that I'm suggesting that is the way that you should have gone, and it was a good thing that you asked the question of the two about the relationship and so on, but one of the things I felt it should have come out from them from the beginning. I really would like to know who these people are. Really, you know, introduce yourselves, the deep issues, parenthood, what sort of parenthood do you subscribe to, you know. These,
okay, let's allow them to respond to this.
These issues, yeah?
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go ahead.
We came on the show with no intention to keep our relationship from the viewers. It's just the process that the show has taken. So in no way do we want anybody to believe that...
No, but the caller is saying they wanted to have a more intimate knowledge about you.
A more intimate knowledge.
Yeah, about you, your family, etc. But let's take a call. Good evening, Hot Button Issue, you on the air?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. Quick contribution, caller?
Yes, what a breath of fresh air. Yes, what a breath of fresh air for the UWP. Keep it up, Dr. Matthew and Miss Corneille. I hope they have a lot more views to come in and do something about the UWP, because right now they're in a mess and they need people like you. Good evening.
Okay,
Thanks very much.
Another caller line. Good evening, Hot Button Issue, you on the air?
What's with him?
Yeah. Yes, go ahead with your contribution, please, caller.
Tim, my question where the Munsala and politics. Politics at the sea, a shaitan, nom ek fam, a même kai, you pas vivre bien. Depuis nom la tout politics, from la cafaché, avec des divisions. Mais quand on a Trinidad team, Premier ministre Patrick Manin, Madame ministre à cabinet lui ou ça, Madame ministre de l'Éducation.
Oui, ça oui.
Oui, so quand on voit ça, quand on voit de ces gens là, quand on si ces gens là, où était la politique là, et porter un changement.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Hot Button Issue, good evening, you on the air?
Hi.
Good evening to you, caller.
evening.
Good evening.
Hi,
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, I'd like to say to Jeana Corneille, I find this is a great move that she's making, and then we in the community of Grizzly, especially from Piatbull Rally, we to carry on. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hot button issue. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening to you,
Good
caller.
evening.
I'd like to ask the two hopefuls there whether they have fully understood the politics of the United Workers' Party, the politics of St. Lucia, and I would like them to tell me the culture of St. Lucia. What difference would they do? I heard the gentleman said that the Labour Party has failed. I would like to know what different, what is different with them that they would bring to the table that would make St. Lucia a better place.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tim, I think that's a very important question and one I was really hoping I'll get a chance to give some input into. Tim, what I'll do different from, I would say, what has happened over the last 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, because even so John said that he failed in that aspect, is I would put a lot more into the youth. Tim, we need to recognize that the young people have the potential to take St. Lucia places. But Tim, we do not believe in them. Our successive administrations have not believed in the power of our youth to contribute to St. Lucia. You know, so I would like to remind people out there, remember Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the founders of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg was a teenager while he was working on Facebook, right? By the time he was in his early 20s, Facebook was in full motion, and they were making millions of dollars every year. They have gotten to a point right now where these teenagers, initially teenagers, now in their 20s, early 30s, are making billions of dollars every year, you know, and they started off as teens. I see that if we invest in our teenagers, in our youth, I shouldn't just say teenagers, in our youth, and we maximize their potential, St. Lucia will go a lot further. That's the difference I think needs to be made in St. Lucia that has not been made over all these decades.
Good evening. Hot button issue. You on the air? Hello? Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Hot button issue. You on the air?
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Quick contribution, caller.
Hello, good evening, Mr.
Good evening to you, sir.
Mr. Paulion.
Yes, good evening to you, sir.
This gentleman is Dr. Montoud.
Dr. Matthew.
Dr. Matthew. Okay,
yes,
he's a new kid on the block, isn't he?
Yeah, continue, caller, please.
Well, yes, but if he doesn't know, does he know anything about the history of the UWP?
What about it, sir?
If the UWP is rotten from top to bottom, how can he cure it?
Oh.
Okay, that's a question.
So the UWP is saying he's a doctor.
It's rotten from top to bottom.
It's rotten.
How can you cure it?
Yes, so we're curing it by getting involved. And I think I wouldn't say we're curing it by getting involved. The party had started a restructuring process, a renewal process, which I must say I'm very proud of. You know, it's given people like myself an opportunity, and like Jeana an opportunity to be prospective candidates and to be taken seriously. That's where we need to start from, because if you're going to talk about the party being rotten, it probably was that way because of some of the people who were in the party before, and maybe some of the behavior patterns that that existed. I think we need to stop looking at where the party was, and all of us need to embrace the fact that there is restructuring going on, and we're very hopeful about, very positive about what will happen in the future.
Good evening. Hot button issue, you on the air?
Hi, how you doing?
Good evening to you, caller.
Good evening.
Hi, good night, Tim. How you doing?
Good evening to you. I'm okay. Quick contribution, caller.
And to your quick guest. I must say, Tim, I'm very impressed with your two guests that's there. And my vote for sure will go, which is in Central Council, will go to Dr. Andre.
Thank you.
And Dr. Andre, I must say that the youth, you hit the nail on the head. We need to do more for them, because all those other politicians that you had, they were youth before. So why do they think that they can do it in their time and then the younger people cannot do it? So
right.
I'm 100% with what you're saying right now.
Thank you very much.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Hot button issue. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you,
Good
caller.
evening.
When I listen to the different talk shows,
I'm getting a picture that people have lost hope in politicians because a picture of doom and gloom is painted, particularly of the Kenny Anthony administration. You hear every day how things are hard. So what are you going to do? And the general consensus was a few years ago, they are all the same. So what are you going to do? Given by any stretch of the imagination that you won elective politics, what are you two going to do?
Okay, thanks a lot. What say you?
I have been a public servant for the past 12 years of my life. And as a public servant, my duty, my primary responsibility is to serve the public, to serve my fellow men, to serve St. Lucians like myself. And yes, we are facing many issues. We're facing youth unemployment. We're facing crime. We have issues with our society as a people. But I believe that given the opportunity, as I said before, I know that many are disappointed with the structures, the systems that we have right now, which is facilitating the failure of our people. And I know that we need to create systems that will facilitate success. For every individual who succeeds, that is the remedy for more individuals to succeed. But at the same time, we cannot see that our ship is sinking and every individual remain in their cabin and believe that they're going to make their cabin comfortable, that they're going to make their cabin safe. Each and every one of us need to address the issue with this ship. If it is the engine that has a problem, let us join the engineers. If it is, something else that's wrong with the ship, let us go fix it. But if it is the captain that is leading the ship into all those icebergs and we are soon going to sink, we have to understand that no matter how safe you try to keep your cabin, it is only a matter of time before the ship cabin and all goes down. So if the problem is with administration, then we deal with administration and we come in and we each play our part. We're not saying that we're going to do it on our own. That's why we're calling for other young individuals like ourselves who have contributions to make. We are not the only two young individuals who feel that we have a contribution to make and can make that contribution. There are many more of you out there with ideas and you can make that contribution, and we're calling upon you to make those contributions.
Another call. Good evening. Hot button issue, you on the air?
Hi, good evening, Tim, and good evening to your guest.
Quick contribution, caller.
Tim, two young people, yes, nice politics, but Jeana, I want to tell you, you're very naive, man. Let me tell you something. You must understand the politics. You enter any politics blindly. You see, to empower young people is not to encourage young people to vote for you. That is not empowering them. But if you want to go up against Spider Montut, who is deputy political leader, although we see a trend going through, they kick Dodi, they kick out Mondesi, they kept Ezekiel because he's chairman of the party. What chance do you stand against Spider, knowing that he is deputy political leader, he have already started a campaign? Or is it all about getting rid of all the old boys?
What say you, ma'am?
You say that I'm going up against Spider. I'm not going up against Spider. I have showed my interest in becoming a member of the UWP party, and as such I have applied for candidacy because I believe I have something to offer. It is the choice of the people, the choice of the constituency branch, and the process that we go through as we have applied as applicants. It is up to the process to choose the best candidate. You cannot choose if you only have one option. And therefore, by entering into the selection process, we are giving the people an opportunity to choose who they see will be the best person to represent. It doesn't necessarily have to be me. And our objective is to work for our country. So whether I become candidate for Grosley or not, as I have said before, I will work with Mr. Montut and I will work with the UWP party to ensure that we get not just the UWP but our country where it is supposed to be at this time.
We're getting all set to conclude the broadcast. Final comments, 30 seconds, sir. What say you?
I say, Tim, the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. Make it easy. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Tim, I think about the children, and I think about what it was like for me when I was 16 and 17, and I say, the children today are not experiencing a St. Lucia that was similar to what I experienced only 20 years ago. So we need to do something to make it better.
Quick comments.
Theodore Roosevelt said, in any situation, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing that you can do is the wrong thing. The worst thing that you can do is do nothing. All I need to say right now is, young people, right now it is not a time to be an observer. We no longer have that privilege. We need to step up, and as Mahatma Gandhi said, we need to be the change we want to see in St. Lucia and in the world.
Thank you so much for being my guest on
Thank
this
you
evening's
very
Hot
much,
Button
Tim.
Issue.
Thank you very much
As
for
well.
having
Thank
us.
you so much.
Much
It's now time for the clip that peaked.
Misogynist! Non mi sono di so, ma capuolo de caca. Ma du ma capuolo de caca. Parce que ça fait nous qui sorti caca. Mais ça qui veut pas caca pour nous, mais ça qui veut moi. Ça qui veut moi encore. Hein? Moi ça qui veut moi pas caca pour nous, ça qui veut moi. Moi pas las du pas passant les témoins. Moi parle au passant les témoins. Pourtant, c'est moi qui fais. Sans les témoins, c'est moi qui fais. C'est témoin. C'est pourtant c'est témoin. C'est pour c'est témoin. Pas mettre tes pieds en les témoins. D'accord, moi pas passer les témoins quoi. Non, moi pas passer. Vous commencez à faire quoi passer. Moi pas passer les témoins. Hein? Tu passes quand vous te passez à passer. Allez, Manou. Allez. C'est témoin, c'est pour moi. Pas mettre tes pieds en les témoins. Pas passer encore. Voilà. Odis! 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 Qui ça m'a fini d'où tout à l'heure? Hein? M'a pas fini d'où pas marcher en les témoins? Hein, Odis? Roger, les témoins, moi, y'en a, Roger. Témoins qui témoins, moi, pas bon caille, moi, Roger. Roger, vous pouvez qu'une raison devant la loi. Moi, les témoins, qui marcher. Vous pouvez pas me faire, moi, marcher, les témoins. Ouais, c'est bon caille, moi, témoins qui témoins marcher. Ouais, parce que moi, marcher, les témoins. Je ne vais pas laisser. Ouais, on va passer. Je vais laisser moi. Alors, je vais passer à l'été, oui. Je vais laisser moi. Laissez moi. Laissez.
And this one extracted from Facebook. That's a broadcast. If it's Wednesday, we discuss a hot button issue right here on Choice Television. My name is Timothy Paulion saying good night and see you next time.